Yes, we want to especially welcome you from all around the world to our Vision 2020 Career Webinar. We're excited at the many things we've been able to achieve through STEM. Yesterday we had an amazing time. First, I'd like to thank our principal consultant, Dr. Ibilola Amao, for the opportunity to moderate this session. Even I was amazing yesterday, and we started up yesterday with subjects that had to do with the impact of technology in the future of work. We had a maker of Koye talked about relevant STEM and tech skills. We had Des Blanksfield talked about future of data science, the future of coding, and then Emma Tayo showed us opportunities at the University of Nottingham. So if you're just joining us, we want to welcome you again to Vision 2020 Career Webinar, and we are in for a great time. We are talking about the future of work and the opportunities that are available to you. There's so much you're going to benefit today, and we're going to look forward to a great time. I'm going to stop here, and we're going to be listening to a speech by our principal consultant that will be taken by my colleague, Ifunaya. Ifunaya, you can have the floor now.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Ifunaya, and I'm the project coordinator for Vision 2020. I'll be taking this speech for opening remarks for today. I'll be representing Dr. Ibilola Amao. In humble gratitude to God, we are online this afternoon for the 15th consecutive year since 2006 to bring the message of the abundance of career opportunities in high technology industries to our youth. We also seize this opportunity to highlight the importance of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, where excellence, innovation, and creativity is much needed to achieve national development and socio-economic transformation. The Vision 2020 Youth Empowerment and Restorative Initiative program is born out of a conviction of the management and staff of Lunadec Inc. to fill a gap in career counseling industry awareness and youth empowerment. We at Lunadec have committed ourselves to act as agents of positive change by partnering with government, private sector, our clients, colleagues, and friends to empower youths and restore hope globally. Commencing from Nigeria for maximum benefit to the masses, we are reaching out to the youths all over the world to see this as an opportunity and how STEM and tech can be the much needed game changer that the world requires. In our systematic manner, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic season, we have connected with world-class global players, leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners to speak words of encouragement to STEM and tech talent virtually. Through education, enlightenment, empowerment, engagement, and entrepreneurship, we are hopeful that minds will be liberated as we all connect both virtually and remotely. What a joy to have technology at our disposal. Since 2006, we have been consistent in trying to identify the brightest and best students who would be driven by a patriotic passion to transform the narrative of lack, sickness, and poverty into one of the abundance and health. We see opportunities where others see problems, issues, and challenges. Through our career counseling, industry awareness, and youth empowerment initiative, we have empowered over 98,000 youths since 2006, giving young minds direction and encouragement so that they can channel their energy into value-adding and constructive activities. Our Vision 2020 Club members now have a track record of excellence in STEM. Through hard work, Our Vision 2020 club members now have a track record of excellence in STEM through hard work, discipline, honesty, diligence, focus, and commitment to excellent service delivery. We are now resolving societal problems through STEM projects. Our Cedar STEM and Entrepreneurship Hub, strategically located in Yaba, the Silicon Valley of Nigeria, is now engaged in International Computer Driving License (ICDL) certification to empower Nigerians for global careers. We are currently working very hard to connect our dots through linking STEM and entrepreneurship with the pressing needs of society. Leveraging our relationships with proprietors of technology, we are working hard to ensure that Nigeria and Nigerians are not left behind in the race of digital disruption. We are focusing on the job of the future and opportunities for STEMpreneurs and techpreneurs. This is quite relevant, especially post-COVID-19. This year, we have diverse speakers from all over the world. There's Blanchfield, a leading Australian technology influencer, Dr. Pearl Coupe, a South African woman leader, Princess Anya Scott, the business manager of Microsoft, Mrs. Emma Tayu, she's from Nottingham University, a representative for the whole of West Africa, Mrs. Sheya Falabi, principal of RFS Consulting, former ED of ExxonMobil Nigeria, Mrs. Ronke Onadeko, principal of Delt R Nigeria, Ms. Boma Bedimemba, DIT UK Nigeria, Ms. Christiana Imafidon, a Blair Foundation UK, Mr. Emeka Okoye, Mr. Paul Akinola, Ms. Rebecca Ponton, and Mr. Harold Sinot. We are working tirelessly with our clients, partners, government, and stakeholders to promote merit-based human capital investment for sustainable development as we focus on accelerating the attainment of sustainable development goals between now and 2030. We are also counting down to the transition to our Project 1000, a very exciting project, which is in partnership between government, industry, and academia to unleash the full potentials of talent, STEMpreneurs, and techpreneurs. My principal consultant, Dr. Amao, is a beneficiary of the mentoring of engineer Dr. Mrs. Shomolu, Vital Voices, We Connect International, iWork, Johnson & Johnson, Bank of America, and the Blair Foundation program. She would like to encourage more people and businesses to give freely of their time and resources to help the next generation channel their energies into more useful causes. I would also like to thank Lonadec staff and Vision 2020 staff for giving freely their time and resources. I would also like to thank our speakers and distinguished participants from all over the world, not just Nigeria, South Africa, UK, USA. I say a big thank you for taking out time from your busy schedules to join us in empowering our 13th set of Vision 2020 youth digitally, remotely, and virtually. May God bless you all. Amen.
Okay, thank you so much, Ifunaya, for that welcome speech on behalf of our principal consultant. We want to welcome everyone once again. It's the future of technology, job for jobs and enterprise. And that's what we're looking at. Yesterday, we looked at STEM, and we were able to put through some thoughts in area of STEM. Today, we're going to be looking at leadership, the future of technology, job, and enterprise. We're going to go on straight. Our first subject is setting the context, leadership in 2020 and beyond. And it's going to be taken by Ronke Onodeko, the principal consultant, DRNL Consult Limited. Welcome, Madam Ronke Onodeko. And you can have the floor now.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thanks. I'm going to be very quick. I have a few minutes just to address you. And everybody's aware of the pandemic that's going on now, and everything has changed tremendously. in the past years. People had opted in and out of technology. Some people thought it was their thing. Some people thought it wasn't their thing. Unfortunately, we're now in a space where everybody is forced to become technologically savvy. However, there's a world outside technology. I hate to tell you, tech people. And I'm just going to run through a few things that I think are very, very important, that in spite of the fact that technology rules the world and is going to continue to rule the world going forward, there's some other aspects of life that we really need to take cognizance of to make sure that we do not get left behind and that we are not just nerds or geeks in the technology space. First and foremost, I want to indulge you all. I was on the calls yesterday, and I had so much that's going on and so many opportunities for young people. And it's the world is the oyster for any young person who is going out looking for jobs or getting themselves trained and prepared for jobs at the moment. But I'm going to run over 14 things which I would like you to take note of. They're just 14 items that we need to carry along as we develop in our technology spaces and in our lives to come. The first on my list is speaking, presentation, and communication. No matter how great you are at technology, you're going to need to pitch your ideas to people. You're going to need to work with a team. You're going to work under people, and people are going to work under you at some point in time. So your ability to speak clearly, concisely, and communicate effectively is going to play a major role in how successful you are in translating what you know and can do in technology to the rest of the world. We're not all going to be technologically savvy to the point where we understand your tech language. So you're going to have to build the vocabulary of the normal world to be able to communicate these things to the world. I would give an example of what I would suggest people do. There's an organization called Toastmasters. Toastmasters is everywhere in the world, everywhere in Nigeria. Join Toastmasters. They teach you how to become a good communicator and a great speaker. Number 2, problem solving. Technology is not technology just for the sake of technology. Technology is important so that it solves problems. It automates. It helps people do things easier, faster, and you can scale up things with technology. So let's not forget that technology is supposed to be the solution to problems we come across. We need to keep that at the back of our mind. The challenges that we face day to day, the areas where we need to scale up, the areas where we need to speed up, the areas where we need to eliminate inefficiencies, those are the places that technology plays a huge role at. So we have to have that at the back of our mind. Number 3, are we good at time management and prioritizing? If we're not good at time management and prioritizing, we won't begin to understand why technology is so important and crucial for the things that we do. We're going to have to manage teams. We're going to have to manage time it takes for us to get our projects and our products to market. So these are some of the areas where I think some of the skills we need to learn outside of technology come in and are critical. We need to be able to prioritize what's most important. I've seen a lot of companies and a lot of young people start up businesses, and they want to perfect their technology before they take it to market. I always tell them, start small, take your rough draft out into the market. The market will dictate to you what it wants to see more of, and to see what works for them and what doesn't work. And you'll be very surprised that the ideas you have, most of them are going to be fine-tuned and brought to light through the consumers that use your product. For example, if I thought I wanted to sell foreign exchange between Nigerians in Nigeria, I could find 10 customers and they begin to ask me, but can you help me send the money abroad? You find out that your new market is probably where you're going to make your greatest impact. And so for that reason, you have to manage your time properly, and you have to be very, very good at prioritizing what one needs to do. Next thing is your discipline, your values, and your integrity. It's going to play a lot of role in how you engage with people, the kind of contracts you get into. And when you're doing input of data, which is what runs technology, the integrity of your data is going to count for a lot. So, are you going to be the kind of person who does shortcuts, or sometimes, you need to get 500 responses or 500 issues, to deal with, and you cut it into into maybe 200 and you think you can get away with it, the integrity of your data, your values, and your discipline will play a huge role in how you're being assessed and how well you're going to perform. Next, number 5 is networking. You need to build a strong network around you. People who are going to help you get to where you're going. Networking cuts across, your social life, your business life, and your personal life. You need to have people who you can go to find out what is going on, how well am I doing, can you introduce me to the next person that I need to meet? These are the people who are going to work on this journey you're going on. So whether you're in secondary school now or university now, or you're just gotten your first job, it's important that you build strong networks around you. And it's not just building the network, because you go to events and everybody collects everybody's cards and you hold on to these cards. You need to reach out to these people. You need to be valuable to them so that they can add value to what you're doing. So definitely get the cards, get the names, get the addresses, but use it. Next, number 6 is learn how to be a team member and to manage people. No man is an island. You're going to work with teams. Teams are going to work with you. You're only as good as your weakest link. So if you're the most brilliant person in science, technology, engineering, or math, or whatever, you're always going to end up working in a team, either a small team or a large team. So you need to know how to get along with people. It's not all about you. You're just one of many. So you're going to have to give some for some people to give when it comes to your time. So it can't always be, this is how I would want it, and it always has to be your way. You're going to have to learn how to balance working with people, working with teams, and you're going to have to learn how to affirm other people. When people say things that are good, learn to appreciate it, voice it out. Don't just think in your mind that, oh, that was a good idea. Say it to the person. Be free and be open. The more you celebrate others, the more you get celebrated yourself. Next thing, you need to learn how to brand yourself. It's never too early to start branding. Now you need to have a profile. You need to have a personal statement. You need to be on LinkedIn. You need to have an elevator. Just imagine you're going to a function in a hotel and you get into the elevator and you're riding up on your own. Next thing, you stop on the floor and guess what? Maybe an Aliko Dangote gets on the elevator. This might be the most crucial 2 minutes in your entire life to sell yourself, to sell what you do for a living, what you're passionate about, and make an impression on this person. Do you have an already made personal profile that you know at the flip of a finger that, good afternoon, sir, my name is this is what I do, this is what I'm interested in. Just in case you ever need anything in this area, I'll be the right person to reach out to. You have to. At that time, you'll be tongue-tied, you'll be so excited, you won't be able to come up with anything. So you have to have this personal profile already built up and your speech already built up. So please brand yourself. Make sure it's something memorable that people will never forget when they've met you. Next is financial literacy. I know you're thinking, where does that come into technology? Most of you are going to end up owning businesses. Most of you are going to end up investing in businesses. Most of you are going to end up having to do the financing of projects you're working on, whether it's as an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur in somebody else's organization. You need to know what costs too much. You need to know how to manage costs. You need to have finance at the back of your mind because consumers are going to buy whatever it is you're producing. So please start early and start building your financial literacy. Next thing is joining communities. It's important that you join communities. In and outside the tech space, you need to have groups of people who have your back and people you have their back, people who you are accountable to. So please always set up yourself in a way where you join communities, physical communities, online communities, whatever. And don't let it just be in the technology space. Go outside. If you have a love for art, join an art group. If you have a love for gardening, do it. So you're a robust person. So, for example, now we're all stuck at home in Nigeria. We're not able to go out so much. I've spent so much time with my gardening in my home on clubs, gardening clubs. I have a platform where we have about 150, entrepreneurial, business, professional women that we meet. We share ideas. We share ideas of what webinar is on and what value to get. And these are going to be your cheerleaders going forward. So please, please, please join communities. You get a lot of knowledge from it. I just have 3 more to go. You have to be able to gather information. You need to know where to go and how to gather information, how to clean up the information. A lot was said about data collection. It's not just data for your projects. It's data for everything. Where are there grants? Who is giving out loans? Where are there facilities you can go to? Which organizations are helping build capacity? You need to have information on all of those things. So you need to have Google alerts for things you're interested in. So every day, every week, every month, anytime one of those keywords come up, Google will send you an alert to let you know what's going on in those spaces. And please, one of the things you should do is follow lots of people on Twitter, on Instagram, especially in the development world. It's important that you know what's going on in the world, so you know who to collaborate with, you know who to reach out to, and you know who and where you can build your capacity to make sure you fulfill your potential. Next is mentorship and sponsoring. Find mentors to mentor you. There are people who have been on the journey you're going, whether in the technology space, whether in entrepreneurial space, whether in finance, whether it's leveraging relationships, and make sure you build robust relationships, because these are the people who are going to end up being your sponsors going forward. They're the ones who are going to hear about things happening across the globe, that are going to think of you and remember to get in touch with you and put you in touch of the people who are going to be your next level elevators. So please, please, please make sure you have a mentor, and it doesn't have to be physical mentors. You can get mentored by books, autobiographies. So don't limit it to people you know. It could be somebody you meet online. So go on LinkedIn, look for people who do similar things that you're doing, or people who are ahead of you in the game. Reach out to them. They can mentor you electronically. Once a month, once every quarter, you reach out to them, tell them what you're doing. They might have one or two things that they can tell you to do or to add to the retinue of things you're doing to help you get to your space faster. You have to learn how to negotiate. You're going to negotiate for your pay package. You're going to negotiate for your projects. You're going to negotiate for your businesses. You're going to have to negotiate the entire time you're living and working. So please take courses. There's so many online courses on negotiations. You're going to find them very useful. Every time you hire a service provider, you're going to find out that you need to negotiate. Every time you want a pay rise, you're going to need to negotiate. Every time you need funding for your project in a company has finite, resources. So you're going to have to negotiate for a chunk of that for whatever it is you're working on. So if you're not a good negotiator, you're going to get the short end of the stick all the time. So spend good time now learning how to be a negotiator. Last but not the least is impact assessment. Anytime you're going out for funding or you want somebody to patronize you, you want to sell to them the kind of impact you're bringing. So you're going to have to learn how to measure impact across board. Your personal impact, your business impact, and the impact your product or your business is going to bring into the world. Those are the things that bring in multilateral funding, funding from social enterprises, amongst other things. So it's very, very key that you learn and you know what the indices are. So when you're setting up your business or setting up your project, you're building those things into the project you're doing. So over time, you can say how many people you've touched, how many lives have been changed, and then you'll run surveys, over a period, maybe every month or every quarter or every half year or every year, to find out and make sure that the impact you are supposed to be making is being made. And if it's not, what do you need to do to tweak it to make sure you're able to measure? And I'll just stop at this time because I know we have a lot of other people to listen to and a lot more information we need to get. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Ronke Onadeko. Thank you for those thoughts. I was particularly touched about the speaking, presentation, and communication you talked about, how that we as tech persons, you must be able to speak clearly and concisely, being able to translate what you know, and that's very key. Thank you for your time. We're still logged into our career webinar Vision 2020, organized by Vision 2020. If you have questions for any of the sessions, we'd like you to check the chat box. You can drop your question, and we will be able to, as speakers, will be able to provide answers to them. Okay, the next topic of discussion is very key. It is about the future of oil and gas. Yes, it's quite very key. And to take us through the session is Mrs. Sheyi Afolabi. She is the principal consultant of RFS. You can have the floor right now.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
So it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm going to talk about what I consider one of those topical topics, which is the future of oil and gas. And so without what to do, so we talk about the future, and I ask the question, as a typical Nigerian, I'll start off with asking a question. The future, who can predict it? And when you predict the future, how accurate can that prediction really be for you? So we had an incident, a pandemic that ran through the whole world, and basically it changed our lives. We're online, we can't have group meetings anymore because we have to social distance. And so most of the time, future is difficult to actually define or to be able to predict. And I can only say that, in my opinion, that you can talk about the future only in the context of today's events. The events that happen today, the actions and reactions that then force or influence your thought process. That's the way I would define what your future plans or future outlook to life should be. We've been really impacted and really changed. So the next slide just asks the same question again. So why talk about the future of oil and gas? Oil and gas seems to be, something that just gets into the media all the time, and it's because crude oil is the most popular globally traded commodity. As of now, we move around 81 million barrels of oil. We trade about that. And the big five companies generate over $1.79 trillion in a year. Their annual revenue is as high as that. It represents about 50% of the most advanced countries. It represents about 50% of their GDP. It represents about 70% of their export earnings. In Nigeria, it's about 90% of our own export earnings. And most people would say to you that if you want a high-paying job, then you need to be in the oil and gas industry. The next thing why it's so topical is the impact on humanity. There's so much talk about climate change, what carbon emissions are doing to us. In some countries, the social impact of this oil is really not felt. In most developing countries, poor countries that have oil, they think that this is a curse versus a blessing. And we know also that everyone is driving towards clean energy. The third thing that makes it very topical is just the price and market volatility. What is this commodity that just seems to be affected by everything in the world? From politics to pandemics. You saw a slight glitch in the computer programming when oil was almost going to be like 50 sub-zero. You have to pay your buyers to take it from you. So everyone panicked. It's also influenced by currency fluctuations. And most times the traders in the market are just tearing their hair and wondering what to do. They fall all the time. It's like it's a depletable resource. Today, a trillion barrels of proven reserves, which at our current usage of about 81 million barrels a day, be done in 58 years. In terms of gas, we have about 200 TCF. To convert that to clean energy that we all use, it will be another 52 years. So definitely the future is something that we want to talk about. So companies all the big five companies tend to always have a forward look. So what I'd like to present to you today is the energy outlook from British Petroleum. So if the future for us is considered from anywhere from today or tomorrow to the next few years, say 50 years, then, the slide I'm showing you should be very important to you. When you look at the first set of graphs, you would see the 3 or the 4 major end users. Those are the end user sectors. So it's transport, which we all know is being threatened now by the electric cars. We want cleaner air, cleaner energy, no emissions. The industry, which is mostly the manufacturing industry. The non-combusted one, buildings. And we're moving more and more into energy efficient homes. And so, how do you make sure that you're not dissipating energy when you're in those homes? So, according to BP end user sector projections, we see positive growth in all the sectors. The energy demands would be mostly from the fast-growing developing economies like India and China, and even Africa, where we should be seeing ourselves developing better in the next few years. If you look at the third chart, you see that natural gas grows much faster than oil or coal, because natural gas is considered a cleaner source of energy. The demand for oil on that same chart, that's the third chart, flattens post-2030. And then you see that renewable energy seems to be like the fastest growing source of energy, which accounts for about half of the increase in the energy demand from 2030 onwards. In all of this, the consumer price still remains the key determinant for energy demand choice. So delivery of future value, or the full value of our oil and gas energy chain, is actually the future. I believe that we should not just look at countries, but actually the oil and gas full value chain is fully exploiting and definitely bringing out everything that we can possibly. I'm showing this inexhaustive list to tell you that oil and gas derivatives are all around you. Yes, we're working on trying to get carbon emissions reduced, but it's in your deodorant, it's in your toothpaste, it's in your oil, water pipes, is the base chemical for your Vaseline petroleum jelly. So oil and gas is everywhere, and we can only just keep getting more. So in terms of conclusion, the future is bright for oil and gas. Transportation and electricity generation will be a mix of both the fossil fuel and renewables. I think there's the competition that we have in transportation, which is the electric cars. We definitely need to look more carefully at the lithium batteries that are in those electric cars, to be sure that we can actually dispose of that. That's a red flag for me. I'm okay with a little bit of carbon emissions that lead to carbon dioxide that the plants need and they can give us oxygen, versus lithium, where you place that into the ground and you start to pollute your table water. So I believe the environmentalists should start looking at those batteries in the electric cars. Manufacturing industry, as I showed you earlier on, will continue to mirror the population growth. World's population is expected to grow to about 10 billion people in 2050. So definitely demand in the manufacturing, in all the daily use, increase more. Construction industry also demand is going to grow. As for me, the future of oil and gas is bright. We need to continue to encourage this engineering, and I'm proposing here also that petroleum engineering, in terms of curriculum, should be expanded to actually capture refining, petrochemicals, agriculture, so that we totally fully explore everything that we can get out of the petroleum industry. So that's actually my talk, and I'm ready to take questions when we get to it. I once again thank the organizers for having me. I know that oil and gas, the future is, for some people, is not as bright, but I can tell you that we are going to need it for the near foreseeable future. So thanks very much for the opportunity. Bye.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ma, and thank you for taking out time out of your tight schedule to educate our people on the future of oil and gas. And you've been able to clear a lot of questions on oil and gas, and I can't tell that it's bright, and this will give opportunities to professionals or young people on what more to do in that field. If you have questions, please drop them on our chat box. At the end of our presentation, our panelists will provide solutions to them. And more information on our Vision 2020 Club to put in all of the thoughts gathered at this webinar. You can send us an email on more information. Vision, you can send it to info@vision2020-ng.org. Of course, you can also send us an SMS on +234 70366 18038. We will definitely send this information to your email. Next, we'll be looking at promoting creativity by innovation, and this will be taken by my friend Damian Isaac, the founder of Things Can Code. Damian, so good to have you here. You can have the floor now.
Yeah, thank you so very much. It's so great to be here. And thank you to the organizers of this great event. All right, so my name is Isaac Damian Ezrin. I'm the founder of Things Can Code. What we do at Things Can Code is to train young people on computer programming. So what we say we do is to help young people, especially those in remote communities, to access computer science education, technology education, and then lots of them, they'll get to learn how to build mobile application, games, softwares, and beyond them just learning these technology platforms. What we also do is to connect them to jobs. So we have students in secondary school who come back from school in the afternoon and then they pick up their laptop to work for a company far away from the city where they live. Maybe they live in Lagos and they're working for someone in Port Harcourt or outside of the country. What we do, creating jobs for young people in remote communities, empowering them with technology education. Okay, so promoting creativity through innovation. It's an interesting topic to discuss because I get asked by my teenagers a lot of times that, what do you think about creativity? Do you think that those in the Western world are more creative or more innovative than we in Africa? And usually my response is always that innovation comes from everywhere. We just need to know how to tap. Doing with our teenagers is to help them find problems and then find a way to solve these problems. Because one of the things I believe is that skills is one of the major attributes to creativity and innovation. And that's majorly what we do at Things Can Code. But this morning, I'm just going to talk a little bit on creativity before I move into what innovation is and how we can become innovative. So creativity is fundamental to innovation. We cannot take away creativity from innovation. I think that one can be creative without being innovative, but you cannot be innovative, or it is hard to be innovative and not be creative. So let me say that again. I think that people can be creative and be innovative. We have, for instance, there was a time I used to do graphics design with CorelDRAW, Photoshop, and all that. So I still do though, but not my primary business anymore. So there was a time I was in a friend's office full of graphics designers, and one of them said that that he can use the Corel Draw and Graph who said he could use the Corel Draw tool, Photoshop tool, and the guys that made the tool itself. And one of the things I told him when I was asked, to comment on what he said was that you are only creative with the tool that you have, but these guys that made the tool are both innovative and creative. And that really answered the question for everyone. And that's why I really think that not every creative people can be innovative, but you cannot be innovative and not be creative. And in terms of creativity, I think that there are 3 values that comes before innovation. The first one is innovation. The first one is collaboration, right? So this is not just asking ourselves like, okay, what do you think? What did you build? This is not just we teaching ourselves, no, but we're both teaching ourselves, and at the same time, we're both learning from each other. So like I say, oh, guess what I found? And you're like, oh, what did you discover? And then we begin to talk. And then this talk leads us into the second thing that I think precedes creativity, innovation, which is curiosity. At the point we are asking ourselves, what did you discover? What did you find? We are curious. And curiosity is also very important when it comes to innovation. And while we're being curious, asking the question of how, not just the what question, but the how. How can we do this? How can we improve on this? That leads us into what I say, imagination. And then you begin to imagine what is possible. I don't know if my network is having issues. It's telling me connection failing. I don't know if you can hear me. Just wave your hand, Mr. Jackson, so that I'm sure.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. It's clear.
Oh, okay. All right. So imagination is a third value that I think precedes innovation. You have to be able to, sense that what you want to do is possible. Because if you can't even sense that what you want to do is possible, by the time you even do it, you don't even know when you have become innovative. A lot of people are innovative and creative, but they don't even know it. So it's important that you have that sense of imagination so that you see ahead that this is possible. And then when you do it, you know that you have achieved it. So quickly, I'm just going to share a few attributes that I know that contributes to innovation. And the first one is what I mentioned earlier, which is skills. I mean, skills, we cannot overemphasize that. And that is the major reason we start Teens Can Code, to empower young people with the skills of the future, because we realize that the world is changing, and especially even this period when we have seen pandemic, the global pandemic now telling us the new normal, showing us that there's a new way to do the things that we've been doing. I've been sharing and empowering young people with skills of the future, because we realize that it's changing from just having a degree into what can you offer, what problem can you solve, what can you help us do with the skills that you have acquired. So that's why we've been training young people on skills. I think it was Elon Musk announced some time ago that they employ based on skills and not just degree. And I think Google also followed suit, employing people based on the skill sets they have rather than just degree. So we're telling young people that the era of degree is, this is already outdated. People are looking for you big. And then the second one I think that also contributes to innovation is the dissatisfaction of the status quo. You to the point where you are not satisfied with the present situation or the present happenings around. That is one of the things that contributes to innovations. If you ask a lot of people that started one project or the other, whether they are even NGOs or businesses, social projects, they tell you it was because they had one problem or the other. It was because they were faced with this, or they had experienced, or they know someone who experienced it. So it comes from a dissatisfaction with the status quo. So you're tired of what has happened. You're tired of the problem that you're experiencing, or maybe someone you know had experienced. So innovators usually are dissatisfied with the status quo, and they are willing to change it. So beyond just being dissatisfied, there has to be a willingness to change the status quo. And then the next one is what I say is the ability to identify serendipitous moments. So these are like opportunities. When they say finding opportunities, you need to take advantage of opportunities. People say that, how they put it, they said talent is, opportunities evenly distributed, but talent is not all. something like that. So, but we need to be able to position ourselves to find opportunities. You know, these opportunities plays an important part in innovation. So you need to know, for instance, where are we today? What is happening? How can I take advantage of what's happening today? For instance, a lot of people are complaining about, not to undermine what is going on in the world right now, the global pandemic, but I think some of us are also making money even in this very period. I think I have even made more money personally than I have been making, because when we were all out there working, I was busy with project Teens Can Code. So Teens Can Code was on, even though we are affected by what is going on. I think personally, I have become more of a freelancer, you know, working for people who need my personal service from home. So what I'm saying is that advantage of every moment, you find out what is going on in the world. So it may be loosely perceived as luck. It may be something that just happened. Maybe you're not the one that caused it, or something you just find yourself walk into and you discover that this is a problem and it presents itself as an opportunity. So one of the things is to find such opportunities and take advantage of it. I remember one of the speakers talked about finding opportunities, and that is very key. Also, the other one I think is willingness to take risk and to fail. I mean, nobody prepares from beginning to say, I want to fail, right? Nobody wants to fail. We don't want to fail. But if you are going to have the big win, if you're going to ever win, you cannot be afraid of failure. You cannot be afraid. You can't fear failure. So willingness to take on risks and the preparedness that this that I'm doing, because there's no guarantee to what you're doing. There's no guarantee to this project that you're starting. You'll succeed at it. Nobody ever knows. We just know that, okay, this idea, even if it looks like it's the best idea in the world, but who is going to guarantee, what is the guarantee that if you start it, somebody's going to give you money for that service? I mean, I have started projects here in Nigeria that never worked. After 1 year, 2 years, we closed it up, you know, because it just didn't work. And then that doesn't mean that I won't continue the work that we're doing. We continue, we come up with other ideas. In fact, today we relaunched one of the platforms that we closed 2 years ago. I posted on my Facebook and on Instagram that we are relaunching it, and actually we rebranded it and gave it a new name. So the willingness to take the risk, I've been sitting on that idea. We closed it 2 years ago, but I'm back to it, doing it for the past 2 weeks, and today we launched it again. And then the other one I think also contributes to this is your passion. Your passion is very, very key. As a creator, as an innovator, every successful innovator has passion. It's an intense, compelling desire and enthusiasm to make a change. There has to be that passion to make a change. You have to have that desire. The project that we started, when I started Teens Can Code, it was because I was passionate about something. And you ask a lot of other people who started their projects, it was because they were passionate about one thing or the other, and then they started the project. So we can't take away the place of passion in innovation. And then the other one is the knowledge of your field. That is very, very key. You must understand your field. Innovators have a deep understanding of the basic principles of the field. That is very key. You must understand both the scientific parts, you must understand the business parts, every angle of your field. You must understand. That is very key. And that is also how to, be innovative and then be creative. When you understand your business. So I did a business recently that I lost about 2,500 USD because it was a business I didn't know anything about. So I just wanted to put in money into it. Plus, we are all at home, so I wanted to make quick money on the platform. Something I didn't understand so much, and the money just went down the drain. So knowledge of your field, it's very, very important to have a full knowledge of whatever field that you're playing at. And then also the other one is the ability, hello? This is showing connection failed again.
We're with you.
Okay, so the other one is the ability to identify good problems. This is the areas that I always tell young people about. Like when I ask young people, when I speak with them, what do you want to be in future? Then they tell you, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be this. I want to be that. And then I tell them that, beyond all the things that you want to be, what is important is what problem are you going to solve? As a doctor, what problem do you want to solve as a doctor? As a lawyer, what problem are you going to solve as a lawyer? That is very, very important. So you need to first identify the problems in that sector and then say, this is what I want to do. And then many times I give them examples of Ben Carson. I ask in the classroom, I'm like, how many of you know Ben Carson? And everybody raised their hands. We know Ben Carson. And I ask again, so who else knows another surgeon in the world? And nobody's giving me any name. And I tell them the reason we know Ben because he was able to identify a problem that followed through. And today he's celebrated everywhere in the world. So one of the key things I share with young people is to identify problems. And then today I'm adding identifying good problems. You need to be sure the problem that you're working on is actionable, not speaking any problem, but you're identifying actionable problems. Those are practical and they have solutions that can be executed immediately. It means that if I find this problem, I can execute on this idea immediately. So that is also very important in creativity and innovation. And then lastly, one of the speakers already mentioned something around this, which is on communication. It's called, I said, it's the ability to sell your idea. That has a lot to also do with communication, right? You need to learn how to sell your idea. The ability to communicate one's idea in clear and inspiring terms, it increases the importance of what you're doing. Like some people have great ideas and they don't know how to communicate it to people. You tell them to pitch to you and they can't even pitch the idea. But you look at the idea on paper and you're like, this is a fantastic idea, but it looks different from what you told me. So it's important that you know how to sell your idea. These are the things that I think can build on our creativity. Especially identifying problems is very important. What problem are you going to solve? Because if you're not solving a problem, you are adding to the problem. So you need to, especially for those living in Africa, we have lots of problems in Africa and you need to identify a problem that you can solve. I know a lot of people want to travel to what they call the greener pastures, but when you travel to these places, sometimes it bothers me because I can't even live in some places because there's no problem to solve. It looks like they have everything solved. Do you understand? So I don't know how to live in that kind of environment. I want to live in an environment where I can be relevant, where I can find problems every day and proffer solutions to them. Yeah, thank you so very much for this great opportunity, Jackson. So I'll be waiting for the question and answers.
Oh, definitely. Wow, thank you so much, Damian. You gave all to this subject, and it's so. I like the fact you talked about dissatisfaction of the status quo. I think everyone needs to join in that line. Just get tired of where you are and how much you could cut solution, and the fact that you just want to look for where problems are, and so you could offer a solution, and that's key. That's key, and that's true definition of success. Looking out for a human need and meeting them. Thank you so much, Damian, for taking out time to share this thoughts with us. It's so amazing. Thank you so much. We're still on the Vision 2020 career webinar, and we've had so much thought. We've had Mrs. Sheyi share to us thought. We've also had Mrs. Ronke Onodeko share to us thoughts on leadership 2020 and beyond. Madam Sheyi talked about the future of oil and gas is very bright. And then we just had Damian talked about innovation and creativity. Next, we'll be talking on mastering the mindset, motivation, and mentality of elite performers in maximizing and embracing new opportunities. And this session will be taken by Christiana Imafidon. Yes, she is the Cherry Blair Foundation. She is a Cherry Blair Foundation mentor. Thank you so much, Christiana. It's so good to have you and taking out time to share thoughts from your wealth of experience. You can have the floor now.
So thank you, Jackson, for passing. I really appreciate that. And thank you to Dr. Ibilola and to Ifanuna for your cooperation in making this occur. Thank you very much. Apologies about my camera. It's decided to pack on me at the very last minute. At every other point this week, I even had a call before this, and it decided to, it was working perfectly. So this is the perfect opportunity for it to decide to do this. But yes, thank you. So the title of my particular talk is Mastering the Mindset, Motivation and Mentality of Elite Performers in Maximizing and Embracing New Opportunities. And I felt that that was appropriate title, as you said, in terms of my affiliation with the Sherry Blair Foundation. If anyone knows anything about Sherry Blair, Sherry Blair is not just a top QC and an absolute professional and expert when it comes to the legal profession, but she's also the wife of former Prime Minister Tony Blair. And what she's known for in terms of her technical prowess is being the first person to send an email from 10 Downing Street. And the reason why I mention that is that in terms of looking at the plethora and the subset of elite performers, you can't go any further than Sherry Blair. Sherry Blair is an elite performer. And so when she asked me to join her foundation as a mentor to women in business, it's something that I had to grab with both hands, because I felt that it was the best opportunity to be able to work with other first-class and first-rate female entrepreneurs from across the globe. And it was a fantastic opportunity to reach them at scale. You see, the fact that we are having this meeting at the moment is testament to the power of technology and its ability to bring people from across the world together, to share ideas, to exchange, to be able to hold conversations and to learn from one another. So the opportunity to learn, or the opportunity to be able to input and pour into the lives of other phenomenal people, was something that I had to make sure that I took full advantage of. Now, in terms of the work that I've done on the program, I met Sherry Blair 3 years ago. Wow, it's been quite some time. And so it's afforded me the opportunity to mentor people from all corners of the earth, and to be able to show them what is possible when we work together, not just when we exchange ideas, but to have someone as a sounding board. One of the previous speakers spoke about mentorship. That's so powerful. And as she said, that mentorship can come in several different formats. The opportunity to mentor people who are on their way up and people who are en route to being successful is really the true payment of being a part of the phenomenal program. One of the things that elite performers can do is they operate in their strengths and they operate in their gifting. People think that elite performance is reserved for the best. It's an esoteric quality that belongs to some type of godlike human being, or some type of elite or esoteric individual who has achieved phenomenal things in their life, when actually everyone has the capacity to be an elite performer when they operate not just from their strengths and their giftings, but they operate in line with their destiny. And the minute the two align, that is it. You are unstoppable. It's very difficult to put a barrier or to curtail the momentum of someone who is already in motion. And so what this is about is making sure that every youth is empowered to see every obstacle as an opportunity to progress. Seeing every obstacle as an opportunity for them to go to the next level, because it's never supposed to be easy. It's never supposed to be a walk in the park. Every opportunity, every adversity is there to shape you to be who you ought to become, to be aligned, to operate and to function properly in your destiny. So how did Maths Manual start? I actually wrote a book to help my friends who were struggling with maths called Maths Manual. And the reason why I mention that is because, again, when you operate in your destiny and you function in the gifting that you've been given, it's very difficult to stop that momentum. Only you really can stop it. And that's a powerful thing. So with this, I actually wrote it with others, with some of my siblings, and we wrote it to help all of our friends who are struggling with maths. Now it's sold out on Amazon. And now we're helping more and more students to be able not just to do the same, but I'm actually constructing a course to bring out, a 12-week course to bring out the maths genius in everyone. Because we were brought up on the notion that everyone is a genius. In addition to that, so much of my work has been looking at bringing out the best in people, bringing about the elite performance in people, that this is one of the things that my recent students said. I have this is actually a parent of some of the students. I have 2 daughters who have had teachers and tutors for various subjects, and after a maths lesson each with Christiana, I am compelled to share their experience due to the not only clear and noticeable, but also instant improvement. One daughter's problem area had been fractions and decimals, past tense, as her immediate feedback was that she felt she now understood these well enough, in addition to gaining a solid grasp of algebra. This is a subject I am particularly fond of. One daughter had been noticeably frustrated about her inability to complete times tables, but due to their simplicity compared to complex tasks she completes, often with some ease. Her usual brief post-lesson feedback on this occasion, however, was extremely clear in her new understanding of times tables, but also her grasp of the ones she had considered to be the hardest. Subsequent spot tests, so spot checks, have all been correct. And this has led to further enthusiasm, not just from myself, the parent, but also my daughter, and from just one lesson. And that enthusiasm is shared on my side also. It's refreshing to see such a targeted and marked improvement in particular subject areas. My daughters have thoroughly enjoyed their lessons with Christiana and look forward to more. An excellent service. I've now booked for the next few months. I would like everyone and would advise everyone else reading this to do the same. Now, while it may speak about one's qualities to encourage and empower students in the realm of mathematics, that can be said of any daughter anywhere on the planet, as long as they're aware of the principles of activating the elite performer in themselves. This is work that I've dedicated my life to, not just in the realm of mathematics, but also in the realm of motivation and empowerment. I set up a YouTube channel a while back to house the motivational movement that was developing online a few years ago to empower young people and young entrepreneurs to be able to take their businesses and their lives to the next level. So Channel of Empowerment houses a video which I believe some I think the organizers may have seen in order to invite me here, which is obviously is an absolute privilege and pleasure, called Message for Today, which is a 15-second video that is done every single day to empower people to take their lives to the next level. I did not know of the audience and the people who were picking up on these videos, however, until I came across a certain boxer who was on his way up at that time. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with anybody called Larry, the Natural Akundale, but he's a rising Nigerian, I have to put that there, the rising Nigerian super sports star who is now a world boxing champion, but he's been watching those videos for the past 3 years. And so to be able to witness the development of elite performers in people that were unaware of their gifting or were unaware of what they were capable of achieving is the hugest gratification for the work that I do in that realm. So besides that, I realized that it wasn't just him who was watching these videos. There were many other people who were watching these videos, namely students, namely youth. And what they were doing is every day that it was being posted, they were using that to get through their studies and to get them through their day. I had one student that reached out to me that because of the videos, they were able to complete their medicine degree and they were able to graduate with honors. And so when you realize that this is far more than just an individual's performance or an individual's effort, you realize that there is a group dynamic that is at play when everyone is moving forward the same way. There's an African proverb: if you want to go if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. And so this made me realize that this is far more than an individual's effort of putting up videos every day just to inspire people, but rather there is a greater movement of people who identify with the messages and identify with the empowerment because of the seed of greatness that's ignited in themselves when they watch the videos. So from there, what then it made me realize is that if students are watching it, what's the next logical step? Work and employment and actually pursuing a career following education. So what then happened is I got approached by someone who studied or who just completed their education, and they were asking me questions about the world of work. And I thought, oh gosh, if you are asking questions about the world of work, who else could be asking those same questions as well? So that's how Empowered to Work, which is actually a youth career empowerment seminar, which we're now going virtual as of this week, that's how it came about. So it's an event designed for youths to be able to make informed decisions about their careers based on what they are already good at, based on their strengths, based on their, not just their gifts, but the skills that they already have. So with that in mind, we had one, again, Nigerian, called Naomi, and she actually came late to the first event. Now, there seems to be this perception that Nigerians traditionally come late. No, not all the time. I think they come on time for the blessing that they've been designed to carry. And so despite the fact that she came slightly late for the first program, she came out from the event completely transformed. She felt that she had come lost, but left with a renewed sense of purpose. in fact, she's now gone on to do some fantastic things. She secured a job even before graduation following the event, and she's been able to widen her network, and we're working together to take Empower to Work virtual. It used to be physical when she arrived. Now she's getting involved in making it virtual, and it's a hugely exhilarating thing to see someone young, fresh, great talent that understands the elite performer in themselves enough to give back, which is obviously a hugely, hugely amazing thing. So to round off, in order to help to develop the elite performer in our youths, one has to look at the opportunities that have now become available. The title of this, as I said, was Mastering the Mindset, Motivation and Mentality of Elite Performers in Maximizing and Embracing New Opportunities. And so the opportunities that have arisen this season is that of electronic opportunities. Everything has moved online. And so the ability for you to adapt and to reskill based in an online setting is what's going to make the difference going forward. The more tech savvy or the more technologically adept you are, the more vast the plethora of opportunities available for you going forward. And so that's what has provoked me to create a course on app development called Basic App Mastery. And that came about because of my meeting, and not just because of the fact that actually people have asked, but it was first inspired, and that seed was really planted when I met the founder of Eventbrite, Kevin Hartz, a few years ago. And so he heard about Maths Manual and what had happened with it and the success of Maths Manual, and said to me, Christian, okay, well, why don't you make an app? I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, why do you make an app? I said, what do you mean? He was like, why do you make an app to help or to build on the relationships that you've built with the people who currently have a copy of the Maths Manual? And so from there, we then got talking about how to go about building an app, how to get the right developers and so on and so forth. But I recognize that maybe in this period, some people may not be in a position to hire external coders or external programmers. So what this is designed to do is to help people who know they need an app, want it built quickly, but don't have the coding or the technical experience available at hand. And so I want to take you step by step from beginning to end, from inception to completion, through the process of building a basic app in this season. And that has come about because of the upskilling of what has been going on. There's been, I don't know whether or not you've seen a huge surge in the interest and the dedication of people towards developing these type of skills. Apps is quite a big thing, I guess, because of the apps that we've got going on to trace and to track those who are affected. And so this is a way of addressing that, but also the timing of it is particularly pertinent and poignant because of what's going on at the moment. So if anyone is interested in pursuing more or following that up, please feel free to message me on LinkedIn. It's Christiana Imafidon, Christiana, Imafidon, Imafidon. Also on Twitter at Tiana Imafidon, all one word, and I can also put that in the message box as well, so that people are aware. So on that note, I'd like to finish and thank everybody for listening, and thank everybody for their patience. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. And that concludes my segment. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Christiana. Thank you for those thoughts you shared. Elite performers perform at their best. And you talked about the opportunity that has risen in electronic and how that we should all take advantage of them. Definitely on our chat box, our panelists have dropped their handles. You can follow them. We've also dropped an email address. You can follow us for our Vision 2020 Club. That club will bring together all of us, and then all the thoughts that has been gathered at this webinar will be able to provide solutions to SDG problems. We network. A lot of network had been talked about at today's webinar, and then we'll build a strong network that will be valuable to all of us. Thank you so much, Christina, for those thoughts. Next, we'll be having Harold Sinat, and he will be talking on leadership development with us. Thank you so much, Harold, for taking our time out of your busy schedule to share thoughts with us from your wealth of experience. You can have the floor now.
So again, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really honored, very happy to be part of this workshop, of this seminar, and to be also listening and learning from such great speakers that precede me here in this workshop. It's really great. It's really great to learn about Nigeria, extraordinary country, and extraordinary evolution, and a lot of things very positive that also can continue to create the greatness that is in everybody, not only in Nigeria, of course, in all the world. These times are tough. The pandemic is hurting so many people, but also I love what Damien said when he was talking about solving problems, identifying and solving problems. When we talk about leadership, leadership is about creating a vision, but also identifying the real needs that we have in our communities. And this comes when Damien was saying about identifying the problems and trying to solve the problems. It's about leadership. Talking about leadership, we need to talk about skills. And Mason, but before we talk about skills, we need to talk about what is inside all of us. And let me clarify this. First, leadership that we have to have is with ourselves. We need to really understand and know more of ourselves, and then also in the same time about others. This is essential. A leader needs to really understand who he is and what he wants to do. Understanding also that creating images in his heart about he or her thought, about the future that he visualizes, that he can create, is also very important. We many times learn and heard about dreaming. Dreaming is part of leadership. We need to create those positive thoughts that really will then impact our communities, that will impact positively our society. Another clarification when we talk about leaders, there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. We need to choose, and leadership is about choosing also where we want to be. And of course, I understand that if we are participating in this seminar and if we are participating in this workshop, it's because we want the good side and we want a better world. And this is part of leadership. This is important leadership skill. About understanding that we want to improve. It's not about ourselves. It's not for ourselves. It's for our community. It's for our society, for our world. Thinking big, creating what we can create is also so important in leaders. So leading from the inside out is key. That's why we need first to understand who we are, what we want, and how we want to do it, and with whom. And also understanding that we need to continually know people and listen to people and trying to know all the time where they're coming from when we're talking about their needs, their expectations, and their potential. A great leader always tries to develop the full potential of other individuals. The leader is not the one that puts himself or herself on a pedestal, trying to say, look at me. No. A real leader is humble. A real leader wants to improve the life of others and want others to shine. It's not about shining ourselves. It's about creating a community of people who can create greatness. And talking about greatness, that is something possible that starts in our brain, in our thoughts, in our heart, in our soul. When we talk about leadership, we also have to understand that it's about serving others. It's about understanding our current situation. We mentioned right now we are in a pandemic. Okay, so we have the lockdowns, we have a lot of limitations because of the pandemic, but also this could be a great opportunity for so many to understand this reality that is not always under control, but it's a reality that we need to do something to improve it or to respond to what is going on. The leader is someone who is not always thinking about the problems that are there that overwhelms the leader and the capacity to act. The leader works on improving himself or herself in such a way that will understand that we need to respond in such a way to the problem. The problem is not the problem. The problem is, or the opportunity is, how we react to the problem. How do we react in trying to solve problems that are under our control? Or how can we also be teaching others, sharing knowledge, also to improve the life of our communities and our society? Let me say a few words about skills, or how to develop a leader. First of all, a leader, someone would say, are you born as a leader, or you can make yourself a leader? Yeah, I have a quick answer for that, and I learned from so many things and so many people, a lot of people that I met on my career as a human resources director, as a global human resources director, and also as a social media and digital marketing consultant, is that a leader, first of all, is a decision in your mind, in your soul. We can be a leader. It's a decision that starts now. And that decision, a positive decision, will be renewed every day. We will renew it every day saying, yes, I want to be a leader because I really want to improve the life of others. We really want to improve our society, our community, our world. Talking about how we develop skills to be a leader, we have to start with listening. Listening is one of the first qualities that a leader needs. And also to be understanding that we are doing things constantly to improve others. And to create a vision of the future that we want to impact. I just posted on my account on Twitter a chart, and if you want to see it, my account on Twitter is @HaroldSynod. What I posted on Twitter is a job landscape in 2022. There are some skills or jobs that are emerging right now, the top 10 emerging jobs of the future. I want to say what I am excited when we talk about STEAM, science, technology, mathematics, is that we really have a lot of opportunities in the near future. And this is not about men or women. this is about men and women. This is about a possibility, a real possibility and real opportunity for us to understand that there are a lot of jobs in the future and will need to be created and are already created, that we can be part of it. The job landscape in 2022, that's the title. Let me clarify that it's not something static, rigid, it's something constantly evolving. The workforce is constantly evolving. If we are learning something from today with this pandemic situation and how it's impacting the economy, the global economy, is that we need to adapt constantly with new skills. Technology is helping us in this moment. And it is great to understand that technology is not just a tool to see messages or to communicate with others. It's a tool that we can use to improve lives. And that is about, when we're talking about the role of a leader and the start within, in the inside, and it's an inside out, we talk about the technology really has a lot of things where we can impact the life of others. How? Because we can be the ones who bring humanity into technology. Bringing humanity into technology will make us will create leaders that will impact our future and our current situation in our lives. Let me mention a few before I wrap up. The top 10 emerging jobs as were described by the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum, they continually try to adapt and also to update this list. Maybe this list now, then the next one will be a little bit different, but mainly I would say that there are a lot of things that are related to technology. The job landscape talks about technology. Data analysts and scientists, artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists, general and operation manager, software and application developers and analysts, sales and marketing professional, big data specialists, digital transformation specialists, new technology specialists, organizational development specialists, and information technology services. Look, in the top 10 emerging jobs, most of them are technology related. That means if we think that if we have doubt about the opportunities that we have ahead in terms of technology related jobs and engineering and math, well, we have proved that yes, there are a lot of opportunities in technology that we need to really share. Let me just mention a few things also to take into account in the technology area. Cybersecurity, it is and will be also a very important area of development. So whoever wants to or interested in cybersecurity, there is a great opportunity because we'll be more and more in demand professionals or specialists on cybersecurity. Artificial intelligence will be everywhere. It's just starting. Some people say, oh, artificial intelligence will dominate our lives. We will be doing what the robots will say. No, the answer is no. We are going to be the ones who will be putting data, big data on the systems, artificial intelligence, robotics, and we are going to be the ones that really will be manipulating for the better those systems. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning are systems, technology that really are going to be at the top 10 also all the time as they are now in the predictions. The other thing is that no matter which is your area of expertise, change is constant. It always was and will always be constant. So learn about how to manage change, how to be an agent of change, how to really how to really manage and live change for the positive sense and for the good, because that is really something related to our future that will be very, very well on the map. I had 20 years working as I recruited more than 20 years several executives and technicians and experts and specialists in different positions in different organizations in the technology industry mainly. And what I learned is that this is something important is no matter the specialty, you need to have these soft skills about change management. Now we can say also that digital transformation is change management, but technology oriented. Let's put it there. And to finalize, my last few comments is about the role of social media in your career. Social media, I mean, our mothers and grandmothers and our parents, our fathers, mother, grandfather, grandparents, are using technology, are using social media. They're using Facebook, they're using WhatsApp, they're using a lot. Now, as a professional, I will strongly recommend to you to be in 2 platforms. I mean, you can be in so many platforms that you want. Facebook is good, Instagram is great, a lot of these platforms are good. But as professional, for your career, make sure to have presence on LinkedIn. You need to have a profile on LinkedIn. And second, I would recommend also Twitter. Twitter is a powerful platform also to learn, to keep your skills updated, and also to network with people. We as leaders need to be great networking. You need great networking skills. You can do that now through technology. Look and think about what is going on now with the pandemic. We cannot meet in person. We have the chance to meet great people and to interact and to network through technology, through social media. So again, LinkedIn, Twitter are technology platforms that you will really want and need to be there on. The very last comment, remember also something that was mentioned today, I love it. It's it's about your passion. Discover your passion. Work with your passion. Understand your soul. And also make sure that you really understand what your passions are. It's not easy at the beginning. You need some time. You need some time to identify what I'm passionate about. But work on that every day and connect it also to your values. A good leader has a clear set of values that want to share with communities and with others to really make and to create a better society, a better community, a better society, a better world. The last word I will say is about technology for good, because all this that I'm saying is live for the good, live for technology, live for your community, live for your society, and use technology for the good, because for that really we can be empowered to do it, and we're really going to do very good things. Thank you very much. Feel free to follow me on my technology platforms. I'm sure I will try to respond to all your messages.
Wow, thank you, Harold. Thank you so much for those thoughts you shared with us. I like the fact you took us through what leadership is and how through technology we can put to work our leadership skills. That was phenomenal. Thank you for taking out time and sharing those thoughts. I took lots of notes, and I'm sure all of our participants took a lot of notes, and we'll put to work all the things that you shared. Thank you so much. I also want to use the opportunity to thank all our panelists for sharing all of those thoughts. We talked a lot about passion, how that we can put to use your dreams, having strong passion for the things you want, channeling that energy into creating solutions and helping the world. So as a leader, your heart is made up of things you want to do, and then taking advantage of technology in getting them out. So we're going to be taking questions and answer now. Before we move that. So I think there's a question for Damien. Damien, please, this is from Veronica Kofi. Veronica says, please, how can one identify a good problem? Damien, that's for you. How can one identify a good problem? Do we have bad problem? Damien. Okay, we don't have Damien online.
Okay, yeah, I think. Sorry, I think I didn't turn on my.
Okay, all right.
I didn't turn on my mic. Okay, so identifying a good problem basically is identifying actionable problems. There are lots of problems, especially like in a place like Nigeria, but you need to find ones that you can act on. And this depends on the level where you are. There are some problems that you want to solve. It might require some more money, and you don't have all the money to start. But to look for problems that are actionable, it means that you can actually execute them. So that's why I mean good problems. I mean, all the problems present an opportunity for us to solve them, but there are some that you may not be able to solve at the point where you are. Maybe because of your financial status, maybe you don't have the necessary skill. For instance, if you have a tech idea, you figure out a problem and you have a technology idea to solve it, if you have the skills and the money to work on it. If you don't have the skills and you don't have the money to employ the developers to build your solution, that might not be a good problem for you to solve. So you solve the problem that you have the capacity to execute. That's what I mean by good problems. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Damien, for that thought you shared with us. Okay, some thoughts were dropped on our chat box, and our panelists were able to proffer solution to them. Bosade Oyekule talked about effective communication skills helps in visibility. And Mrs. Ronke on another court shared so much on to be a leader, you have to master many aspects of successful life skills. And it's important now than ever. And she talked about speaking, problem-solving skill, time management, discipline, values, networking, and all of the things she shared during our time. Just going through some of the chats that were on while the sessions were up. There seems to be a question on certification and for capacity building and participation. There are certificates that has to do with attendance, participation, or appreciation. Are they proofs of skill attainment? Certificate that talks about maybe certificate of participation, certificate of appreciation, or certificate of attendance. So Niran Oyekale is asking, are they proofs of skill attainment to Nigerians? Let me, Ms. Ronke answer that. Certificate of appreciation, are they proofs of attainment for some set skills? Mrs. Ronke. Okay. As we can, Damien, can you take that question?
Okay, so what I think about those certificates, it's good to appreciate people with certificates when you do a training. But I think what is more important in the world that we live in today is the skill. The fact that you can do what you said you can in the certificate. For instance, if the certificate says that you are a digital marketer or you are a programmer, whatever it is in the certificate, you have to be able to do the work. I think that is what is important. And I said in my speech that some global tech companies already are focusing more on the skill set rather than the look of the certificate. People they just ask you what can you do, and then they give you the job and say, okay, try this out. Especially for us in the tech companies, people are conducting interviews online, video conference like this. So they see what you can do live. If you cannot do it, then whatever you say you have in your certificate doesn't do the job. So what is important is the actual skill, the ability. That's what is very important, much more than the certificate. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Damian. What's important is actually the skills when put to work. Right now, we're going to be listening to a closing remark by our principal consultant, the visionaire for Vision 2020, Dr. Ebilola Amao. You can have the floor right now, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, panelists. I want to say a big thank you to Harold, Damien, Oluseyi, Christiana, and Ronke. I really appreciate the fact that you've taken time out of your very busy schedule to honor just not the Vision 2020 team, but the various participants who are youths, talent in STEM and tech, and potential STEMpreneurs and techpreneurs. We started this journey 15 years ago in 2006, trying to empower 100,000 young people. We've done 98,000, and the project is a 15-year project, capacity, capability, and competency empowerment project. Basically identifying, developing, and engaging STEM and tech talent to address national development and socio-economic transformation issues. We believe so much in the potential, talent, and passion of young Africans, and we think having an ecosystem of these talents, rubbing minds together and collaborating locally, nationally, regionally, and globally will enable us accelerate the attainment of sustainable development goals, as well as make the world a better place. So we're so pleased to have you supporting us on our 30th event. Our 30th event would have been held in University of Lagos Auditorium, with about 1,500 STEM talent. But because of the pandemic, we've had to leverage the information technology and go virtual. And that's really created a lot more value. We've had people from Australia, USA, UK, who we would not have been able to fly into Nigeria because, I mean, we normally work on limited resources. We're self-funded. And it's been so awesome that the issue, challenge, and problem of a pandemic has translated into a virtual network that we hope will do great and awesome things. So I'm encouraging us all to mentor and coach people in our communities, spread the word that our potential, passion, and talent could be unleashed to create a better world. And STEM and tech is one of the avenues for which we could accelerate the attainment of sustainable development goals, collaborate with people all over the world who have similar vision, mission, goals, and objectives with us, and we can do a lot more. I'm a firm and strong believer that together, each of us achieves more. Teamwork is everything. I can't say thank you enough to all the participants and the panelists for coming on board, and I hope you would join us in the Vision 2020 Club and support us as we go forward to make the world a better place. I want to say a big thank you to Ifunaya, the project coordinator. I want to say a big thank you to Samuel, who have run this event successfully. I thought I should step back and allow them do a good job. And I want to say thank you to all the panelists. We look forward to you continuously being in our ecosystem, and we hope that we would all join forces together to make the world a better place. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep safe and stay safe.